Hello, myself Dr. K.V. Arjunagowda, Department of Physics, Government First Aid College, Hoskote. My topic is Weissenberg and rotating crystal method. A powerful technique of steady state X-ray diffraction is called rotating crystal method. A single crystal is mounted with an axis normal to a monochromatic X-ray beam. A cylindrical film is placed around it and the crystal is rotated about the chosen axis. As the crystal rotates, sets up lattice planes will at some point make the correct Bragg angle for the monochromatic incident beam, and at that point a diffracted beam will be formed. So this is the rotating crystal system I have shown here in a diagram. The whole thing is oval sphere. Also inside here we will place the crystal here, and then we will pass in this side is X-ray to fall on the crystal. The diffraction spots here, diffraction spots on the above and below. You can see this is a metallic cylinder containing a photographic film. This whole thing is a metallic cylinder. Inside that we will mounted or inserted a film. So this arrow shows this crystal is rotating. That's why we are going to call as rotating crystal system or Weissenberg rotating crystal system. Weissenberg is the person he developed this system. That's why we are going to call as Weissenberg rotating crystal system. So when X-ray falls on the crystal, the diffraction patterns we can see here above and below. Here we can see the crystal planes. So this is the L equals 0. This is L equals 1. This is L equals minus 1. So on to we can find the crystal planes or lattice planes. Here L equals 2 and here L equals minus 2. This is the center point is L equals 0. This is above this L equals 1 plus 1. This is below the center point L equals minus 1. So on to this is L equals 2 plus 2 and this is L equals minus 2 below the center point. So rotating axis, the direct lattice here, this arrow. These points on the reciprocal lattice. In the planes we can find the reciprocal lattice. This is the rotating crystal system arrangement we are shown in the figure. After the diffraction, we will develop the film. Then we can see the diffraction spots like this. The schematic aspect of a developed film you can see here. This is the method of Weissenberg rotating crystal system. So now we can see how it works. Rotation photographic film or metallic cylinder containing a photographic film. Inside this is the metallic cylinder. Inside that photographic photo film you are inserted. Then after the diffraction, we can see the diffraction spots here. Now we'll give explanation for this. In this method, first develop a fragment of crystal is placed in a narrow beam of monochromatic radiation and is turned around an axis perpendicular to the beam. So this is the beam we pulse here. This is perpendicular to the beam. While the exposure is taking place, here the exposure is X-ray radiation. The diffracted beam are recorded photographically upon a plate and a film bent into a cylinder around the axis of rotation and as shown in the figure. We have shown in the figure. This method requires an extremely small single crystal. This method requires an extremely small single crystal. The diffracted rays give small distinct spots on the film. As the crystal rotates, one plane after another is brought in such a position that it reflects the radiation. The film, when developed, shows a number of spots due to various planes which have passed through requisite positions. Using these planes, we can calculate lattice parameters. The lattice parameters can be calculated using the formula A equals n lambda divided by sine of inverse tan 2yn by d, where d diameter of the camera, that is 57.3 mm, lambda wavelength of X-rays, that is 1.5418 angstrom, n order of diffraction, a lattice constant. In this way we can determine the rotating crystal method. Where we are going to use this method means uses. One, rotation method is the most common method to determine crystal structure. Number two, Weisenberg technique is a development of a rotation technique. This technique is well modified or developed. Number three, it gives entire reciprocal lattice level. Number four, it is used for improving, measuring cell constants and determination of space groups. Like that, so many uses we can find in the rotation Weisenberg photograph method. Next, we will go for X-ray diffraction method or Debye-Scherrer method. Sometimes it is also called X-ray photograph method or X-ray powder photograph method. The powder method is a special because the powder method is the only technique which is applicable to all the crystalline materials. It is applicable to all the crystalline materials. Also, it is the most convenient method. The diffraction data can be obtained from a crystalline material. This way, Lave and Brock's techniques for the investigation of crystal structure can be applied only if single crystals are reasonable size are available. But in general, large crystals without fault are difficult to obtain. Therefore, Debye-Scherrer adopted a different technique called Debye-Scherrer method. The Debye-Scherrer method experiment arrangement is as shown in figure. See, this is the whole thing is Debye-Scherrer method experiment arrangement or setup. This is X-ray tube. This is the whole thing is X-ray tube. Number one, X-ray from X-ray tube. One represents the X-ray beam. Number two, this is lead slits. That means slit one, slit two. The two represents the lead slits. No. Two is the X-ray beam. One is the X-ray from X-ray tube. Two is the X-ray monochromatic beam. Three is the slits S1, S2. This one and this one. This is the slits, lead slits. Then X-ray, after coming from the X-ray tube, it passes through the lead slits, then directly enter on the crystal. Here we have taken the crystal that is powder form. We have taken the capsule that we are represented here as 4, and this 5, this thing is 5 is photo. I have shown here. 5 is film, photo film. The arrows are the diffraction spectrum, diffraction acts that we have shown. But in powder photograph, we will see the diffraction patterns in the form of an arc. See, like this. This is the center point O, angle theta equals 0 degree. This is the diffraction arc spectrum. Here theta equals 90 degree, and here also theta equals 90 degree from above and below. Then here the end is, I have not mentioned here, this theta equals 180 degree. Here also theta equals 180 degree. Like that, the experimental arrangement is as shown here. So that's what I told. A diagram of the Debye-Sherrod method. 1, that is X-ray tube. This is 1. Beam of monochromatic X-rays. This is 2. The beam is posting here. 3 slits. This is one. This is on this one and this one, 2 slits. The fourth one is I already told. This is a crystal you have mentioned. The crystal you have taken in the form of a powder, that is you have taken in capsule, that we are going to call as 4. Number 4. 5 is film. This is the film is mounted in a cylindrical camera. So after getting radiation, so we will develop a film. We will see the X-ray spectrum or the diffraction patterns like this. In powder form, we'll see the arc spectrum or the diffraction patterns in the form of an arc. Earlier we have mentioned in the single crystals that we'll see in the diffraction pattern in the spots. Seems to be a spots. Next, number 6. Where is 6? This one. X-ray spectrum and O. This is the O. Is the trace left by the beams passing through the crystal. Okay. Now, in this method, the specimen was taken in the form of a well-powdered sample of the crystal in a thin glass capsule. The experimental arrangement is as shown in the figure. Now, the narrow beam of these monochromatic X-rays, suitably collimated by lead slits that are mentioned in number 3, falls on the powdered specimen that are shown number 4 in the diagram. The specimen is suspended vertically and the axis of a cylindrical camera. The photographic film is mounted around the inner surface of the camera, covering nearly the whole circumference in order to receive the beams diffracted up to 180 degree. That is from 0 to 90, then 90 to 180 degree. The powder specimen of the crystal can be imagined to be a collection of random oriented tiny crystals presenting all values of glancing angles to the incident beam for a given wavelength and for a given value of d. There can be only one value of theta which satisfies the equation 2d sin theta equals n lambda, where n equals 1 the order of diffraction, d distance between the planes, theta glancing angle, lambda wavelength, that is wavelength of X-rays that we are going to use for the source here. Such reflected beams emerge out from the specimen in all directions, inclined at an angle to theta, with the direction of the incident beam, because millions of tiny crystals in the specimen are random oriented. The reflected rays will be on the surface of a cone vertex at the specimen based on the photographic film and having a semi-vertical angle to theta. The traces obtained on the photographic film will be as shown in figure. I'll show you once again. The traces obtained from photographic film is as shown in figure. This is the traces obtained from the photographic film. You can see here. Okay, I told this is theta is 0 degree, and if you take care the theta equals 90 degree, then here 180 degree. In the same manner, theta equals 90 degree here 180 degree. I have shown not shown in the diagram here, but this is 180 degree. It's shown in the diagram. Okay. Now let R be the radius of the cylindrical camera. That cylindrical camera, I told no, that is in a metallic cylindrical camera. That's radius. Let it be R. The direct beam strikes the film at O. I will show you once again. The direct beam strikes the film at O. This is the O. See, this is the direct beam. After the slits and the crystal, this is the O, direct beam. Let it be the direct beam will be O. Okay. The distance beam strikes, the direct beam strikes the film at O. Suppose the spectrum with glancing angle to theta is found, and L is the distance from O. Then L equals R into 2 theta. Therefore, theta equals L by 2 times R. Using the value of theta in Brag's equation and knowing the value of lambda, that is the wavelength of X-rays, D can be calculated. The distance between the two planes can be calculated. Brag's law, the Brag's equation is 2D sin theta equals n lambda. With that, knowing these values, D and lambda, we can calculate the D value, distance between the two planes. Overall, conclusion, see, today we discussed one is Weisenberg rotation photograph method. That we are that we are going to use single crystals, and the diffraction patterns we will see in the form of a part. The same thing, same manner, the Debye-Scherrer method we are going to use for powder crystalline material. That we are taken in the form in capsule. With that capsule, we will pass a X-rays. The diffraction patterns at 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree diffractions will take place. And here the diffraction spectrum or the spots will see the form of an arc. That is the difference between single crystal and powder diffraction. The single crystal or rotating crystal method was developed by Weissenberg, and this powder diffraction or polycrystalline materials was developed by Debye Scherrer. In both the things, both the methods, we can determine the lattice planes and lattice constants. And using Brock's equation, can determine the distance between the two planes, that is D also. Overall, we can calculate the lattice parameters from both the experiments. Thank you, one and all.